Steve Peterson here with Infinity Investments, and welcome to our channel where we talk all things commercial investment real estate. In today's video, we're going to talk about meeting the market. January 2023, been a little bit of a shift in the commercial real estate business and investment property business, particularly here in the Bay Area, where we not only got high interest rates to deal with, but we also have extreme rental regulations, right? Especially in the world of multifamily. So if you're a seller of properties and you actually want or need to sell, you have to meet the market, all right? What do I mean by meet the market? I mean, you've got to bring a price or terms on your property that is going to meet the marketplace of buyers where they are at. We have interest rates on average at this point. We have rates of return on properties on average at this point. All right, it's a disconnect. The only way we're going to get a property sold if we meet the market, where that property's yield, capitalization rate, is going to be equal or somewhere close to the going interest rate, an interest rate that someone would pay on that building. All right, so there's three ways that you can meet the market. All right, first, and it's obvious, it's price. You got to bring your price to where someone can buy your building, if it's an investment property, where they can make a profit. If it's an owner-user property, you got to bring your price to where someone can functionally run their business. So if you got a bunch of repairs and TIs that need to be done, or improvements that need to be done on the property, and you are overpricing that, trying to negotiate your way backwards, that ain't gonna work, because a buyer has an increased cost of capital if they're getting a loan. And even if they're paying cash, the opportunity cost of that capital is up, right? So they have an increased cost of capital to be able to acquire your building if you're selling it. Nobody in 2023 is going to be overpaying for real estate on purpose like they were in 2021 and the first part of 2022. It ain't happening, y'all. We missed that period of time. So what you got to do is you got to price your building at a point to where someone can actually buy it and make a profit or run their business from it functionally. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know a lot of people who are sellers in the market don't want to hear that. But if you need to sell or you want to sell for a particular reason, you can do that if you meet the marketplace. And number one way to do that is price. And that's like super, super simple, right? But I can't believe how many people are telling me, oh, we're going to hold on to next year. I said, next year? You're going to wait until next year? You know what's going to happen next year? Especially if someone is making a negative cash flow in a building. If you're losing money, you're going to wait till next year? So you're going to lose all that money, and then you're going to wait till next year, right? And that magically the market's going to come back, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but I don't think a magic wand is just going to bring everything back. I think you have to deal with the reality. Now, if you don't have to sell your property, you can cash flow it. That's the importance of cash flow. That's why we always talk about cash flow. And you get in a market where it's down and you're making money in a building, well, you don't need to sell it. But if you need to sell it, right, or you really want to sell it for whatever reason, you got to meet that market. What I'm telling people today who are coming down on price, who are maybe doing exchanges, saying, hey, look, you're not probably going to get the price you wanted to get ideally. But the price you get where you can move the property, now you can be a buyer in this market where now you can negotiate discounts and you can find distressed properties. You can get good value on your money. You may not get that top dollar when you sell, but you can certainly exchange and increase your rate of return, right? Because a lot of people's return on equity is low. So it's all about the next move, being more profitable. But that's number one. The second way you meet the market is through creative financing. Sold a property here recently, and the seller carried a first position, 70% LTV first position. And when they carried with the interest rate under the marketplace. So what did that do for the buyer? That incentivized the buyer to go ahead and close this deal. Buyer came in with 30% down, and we got the deal done. So they didn't discount their price severely, but what they did do is carry financing. And they did so in a way that was attractive to the buyer. Why is that? Because the interest rate was less than what they would have got if they went to a Main Street bank. So now that property is intrinsically more valuable, and it has a note that if they wanted to sell it, it's a longer term note, they could have someone assume it. And that person would then come in at a rate that's much lower than the market. So that's a way we can get a property sold. And that's a way, again, that we can meet the marketplace. All right. And I know somebody, that property I was speaking, they were not making income on their property. Right? It was an owner user, but now they had a lump sum of cash and they got stream income on a building that they weren't making any money from, right? So they have a better situation, right? It wasn't ideally what they wanted, but they got a better situation, right? By meeting the market. Third way you can meet the market is through what I would say creative terms. Now, I'm differentiating this from creative financing because here's why. Creative terms such as buying the rate down for a buyer, right? If somebody's trying to come in and buy, and a lot of people in residential, smart people sellers are buying their rates down for the buyers, right? A few points, some money you paid through escrow, and you can buy that rate down. That makes the rate less expensive for the buyer. And that's something that we could do in commercial real estate as well. That's definitely something we could do. Here's another thing. I'm negotiating this on a couple of properties right now that have vacancies. And this is something I learned from the Great Recession. Rental credits for vacancies, all right? So let's say you're selling an office building and you got a bunch of vacancies. Let's just say you got, which by the way, I heard a stat that San Francisco has about 30% vacancies on office right now, and that might be generous. So if you're selling a building and you have high vacancies, most lenders, they don't want to lend on properties that have high vacancies. What I've done in the past, and every lender is not going to work with this, but some lenders will, is that what the owner can do is guarantee the property to a certain amount of occupancy by giving a rental credit for a year, maybe even 2 years, right? You say, hey, look, I'll at close of escrow, I'll give you a rental credit that equals to X amount of occupancy for X amount of time. And then that way you close of escrow, you've got capital that's cash flow to maybe make your property positive cash flow. And you've got 2 years, a year, whatever you negotiate to be able to go and find the tenants to lease the space to now have the space be profitable, right? We can kind of weather the storm and get back to profitability. So those are just a couple ways. And then, and there's all kind of creative things you could do within a negotiation. This is not like the stock market or the retail stock market, I say, where you just go in and say, hey, here's a stock price, we buy it, this price, that price. No, man, this is real estate where we can negotiate, we can create solutions. We have creative terms where you can meet the market. One of my wisest clients, one of my wealthiest clients, we just working on getting the building sold for him, where, look, he came way down on his price. And he is a tough negotiator. But what he's doing there, he said, and this is where I got this concept from. He said, look, Steve, I'm meeting the market because I'm selling this building. I may not even make money on this building, which means he doesn't have to exchange, by the way. So he could take the money and do whatever he has to do because he's not making a profit. But what is he looking to do? He's looking to take that cash and reinvest it. And we're looking at distressed properties for him to where he can double the amount of income that he's making. So meaning he could sell this building now, right? Even take a loss on the building, get less money back than he put out. But he can take that money and go reinvest it today and make double the amount of income he's making on his building. It's called meeting the market. Revolutionary concept, but it's a way that you can get your property sold, right? Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this. If you like it, share with friends, throw me a like, subscribe, and stay tapped into this content as we navigate through the rockiness that is commercial real estate right now. But keep your head up, eyes open, and let's go make some money this year. To the next video, deuces.